I think he can hear you, Ray.
Don't move. It won't hurt you.
I feel the need for speed. Ow! So together we're the Three Amigos.
Right here. Stop.
Batman, what happened? Are you okay?
He's slimy.
Is it getting hot in here, or is it just me?
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Hey, you're on that side.
I didn't put myself here.
Does that mean you are the host of today's show?
Oh, let's hope not. That's not going to go well.
No? Okay. All right, we'll do this.
Yeah, we have to swap that around.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to After the Weekend. I am JT Gunn, and we have my friend over here. What is your Indian name?
I can't give it to myself. Somebody else has to do it. I can't claim it.
Okay, some people there's a question in the chat, everyone, on what is Beard's Indian name, or what it would be. So
I mean,
if
there've been a few thrown out there. There've been a few thrown out there, and I'm not claiming anyone yet.
I like this one.
I like Mrs. R2's Mowing with Beard.
Mowing with Beard. Oh, how are you doing, Miss R2? By the way, quick update. R2 is still in the hospital. He's healing as best as he can. But he has heard I believe he has heard all your well wishes, your prayers. Mrs. R2, I feel for her. She has been there this entire week on week. She's probably exhausted. So everyone kind of give a big, let's just give her some hearts in the chat there for Miss R2 and R2. And you know what? I totally forgot who I forgot to bring on. Our special guest, Death of the Row.
I don't feel special anymore, though.
No, it's fine. I didn't forget you. I saw you there. Put some hearts in the chat there for Miss R2 and R2. Let them know you're thinking about them. I think that would be great. And again, there is a question in the chat. What would Beard's Indian name be? So, I like how no one included your Liberty. You could have been like Liberty Bibbity.
I mean, I suppose so. There's only one person out of all of any place I end up on the internet, there's only one person that refers to me as Liberty, and that's Stephen Ransom. Everybody else calls me Beard. He calls me Liberty. Some reason.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Our Miss R2 says I'm okay. He had a procedure today and he's been sleeping. Okay. Hopefully that works out for him. I know he's had some things going on. So
yeah. All the best to R2, yourself, and little Spidey. Obviously.
Okay. So Squeaka says she calls you Winky.
Yeah. Let's not get into that.
Winky.
Let's not get into that.
Wow, Winky.
Yeah, she took offense that you said I was a monkey lover.
Yeah, but you enjoy those monkeys.
George of the jungle, strong as he can be.
Winky
it's
Beard.
Never gonna go away.
There's
Winky Beard.
Winky Beard. Oh, that's a good one. That's...
Oh my God, that is funny.
Oh man,
Winky Beard.
We've derailed ourselves from the very beginning already.
That is
correct.
The Beard of the Winky. Oh, Beard of Winky. Okay.
Oh Lord. Somebody say
Thumbs up.
Okay, and what do you got drink? What are you drinking there? What do you
Oh,
got going on there?
it's
Oh
a beverage
wow,
and a nice late night with Cap cup from our friend Animaniacs over, or as
yeah,
known on some places, Lambency. So yeah,
yeah. He looks
yeah,
great. Look at that. You,
it's actually fantastic. I didn't actually try to win this. I gave everybody a chance whenever the giveaway was. But yeah, this is
yeah.
fantastic. It went on a road trip with me this weekend. It's great.
All right.
Stop
We're
it,
gonna
Jake.
we are continuing November as our
America. What a place.
our America movie review, and there's a lot of stuff that's gone on in America. People have traveled here to be a part of America, like little Feifel and his dad, what we reviewed last week, and then this week we are reviewing a guy who fought in the Civil War and is sent to the plains of America, where America technically hasn't been discovered, and he is living out there on his own. And that's, we're going to review Dances with Wolves with Kevin Costner. So that's this is an epic movie.
It's a
And by
really
the
good
way,
movie.
if you haven't seen this movie, be prepared. You're either going to watch a 3-hour version, no shorter, or you're going to watch a 4-hour version.
Yep.
And make sure when you're watching it, you're either watching the regular version or the extended version. Because if you watch the extended version, this thing is almost like Lord of the Rings extended version, where it's
See,
4 hours.
I kind of want to see the 4-hour version now because I didn't know it existed, and I saw the 3-hour version, and when it came up and saw the time code, I thought, "Ah, damn, this is 3 hours long."
What was amazing was during the 4-hour extended version, there is a scene in that, and it reminded me of you.
Ghost ride the wind. Ghost ride the wind. Ghost ride the wind. Ghost ride the wind.
Wrong movie. He dances with wolves and eats rats. Well, I mean, what else was he going to eat, right? So we are definitely going to review this movie tonight. And again, everyone, I can see all your stuff in the chat, and I see Rogue there. Hey, Rogue, make sure you answer the question in the poll. What would Beard's Indian name be? So,
Yes, I can't give it to myself. Somebody else has to.
yeah. So, Beard, you watched the 3-hour version, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Defro, you watched the 4-hour version, like me.
I did.
Okay. Was this a first watch for any one of you?
No. Well,
In its entirety, yes. I first saw, I think it was in 3rd grade. My teacher played the part where they go and they hunt the buffalo, and that whole sequence.
Yeah.
Up to the point where you see the couple like making love in their bed and everything, because she forgot to stop it in time for 3rd graders. And there was definitely some neuron activation there in my brain going, "Oh, what's this? I don't know what it is, but I like it."
They were making Winky.
No Winky. but that was the first time I'd seen any part of this movie, and I've seen parts of it since on TV, but this was a first watch in its entirety for me. So yes and no.
Okay. And everyone, thanks for showing up again, and make sure you hit that like button for us. Defro, this was not a first watch for you, I'm guessing.
No, I have seen in the past the shorter version, the 3-hour version. I remember my dad watching this a lot when I was growing up.
It seems like a lot of our dads watch this a lot. Okay. When you watched it with your dad, were you excited to watch it with your dad, or is it more like he was forcefully making you watch it?
Well, no, it's kind of odd because I remember seeing this movie and there's bits and pieces that I remember very vividly, and the other ones I don't. And I think it's because the movie was so long, I might have lost interest and walked away from the room for a bit and then came back later and it was still playing type deal.
Like, Dad, what are you watching? My wife's dad, he at his house, he had maybe 4 or 5 VHSs, and this was one of them.
Yeah.
So they watched this quite a bit. There are Kevin Costner movies, and then there are Kevin Costner movies. this is the Kevin Costner movie.
Yeah.
So not a Jacob.
See,
thought
that is
on
nearly, and it's kind of appropriate to this. That is nearly such a weirdly repetitive sentence that is still technically correct. Is buffalo, 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 buffalo. Which, if you don't know, that's actually an actual sentence. Look it up.
It is. So Dances was came out in 1990. It was actually directed by Kevin Costner. It was his first directed film, and then it was written by Michael Blake. And a lot of people were skeptic on how Kevin was going to make this movie, because it was one of those big first-time movies where it was huge, right? He wanted to go where this was, like, he wanted to film in the plains. He wanted to have an all Native American cast.
I mean, it was a very it's a classic definition of a passion project. This is exactly what he wanted to make.
Oh, we found your name.
But it's
Liberty Wind and Beard.
It's very rarely that these passion projects really pay off like this one does. I mean,
it's true.
I remember, like I said, I remember this thing being very popular when it came out.
Yeah, it was almost, well, when we get to the numbers, it was something that was kind of interesting to me. It almost like it was slow out of the gate, kind of like the movie, and then it took off. So Kevin Costner, he directed this movie. It's based off a book, same title. So I'm wondering if you really enjoyed that book so much.
Well, it is kind of interesting because some of the transitions and scenes in this movie kind of seem disjointed. They don't really make a whole lot of sense. So I'm thinking that there's probably a lot in the book that was left out, as is the case with pretty much any Hollywood movie. So I'm kind of interested to go back and see what the story actually is, because some of it just seems like you'll see a scene here and it'll cut away from it, and you'll see a scene here, it'll cut away from it, and it'll never kind of touch those objects again. But for whatever reason, they felt it was important to include them. So,
yeah, I will say this: if you go to Amazon and try to buy the book, don't look at the comments, because the comments, there's not a lot of people that like this book because it's poorly written. Basically, the movie is actually better than the book in this case.
Okay,
really?
I haven't. I did not know that.
There's some, if you read down into the comments, there's a lot of people like, this wasn't as good as the movie. I'm like, damn, that's
it. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it kind of just it's not a fast-paced movie, but there are moments that make like speed up, and then there's moments that kind of slow it down. And there's some moments where you're like, what the heck did this just happened?
Yeah.
So this movie actually takes place in America in 1863 to 1864. It's only like maybe a year. All the events that happen in this movie, which is crazy. So it's it's right around the Civil War, and it's in the Nebraska, Colorado territory area. But this is when America was just kind of barely getting over the Mississippi River there as far as exploration, and they're in the middle of the Civil War between the North and the South. So, and Beard, we know we live in Texas, and I'm sure Defro has a lot of this. The Civil War there's things all over the place around here, buildings, historical markers. Some grandpa has like a cannonball in his backyard,
Yeah.
It was a big thing, obviously, in this country. And I
mean, of course it was. I mean, you literally had families actually fighting against each other at certain points that might have been on the actual opposite sides of a firing line. So, of course.
And you had entire, I guess you could say, sometimes not just one, but two generations of family that would just die in this thing.
Yeah. And he's on, Kevin Costner plays a federal soldier. And they start right off the gate where he's on the battlefield injured. And that scene there is right out the gate. He's just like, bam.
It opens up. It opens up just like full on, just like blood. And we're going to have to take this leg. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump ahead because it's a little thing that you can miss later on, where he doesn't want to have his leg taken. and we'll get into everything he does after that because he obviously kind of like, he's like, I'm done with this. And you see that picture there. He's basically riding between the firing lines, trying to die. But he doesn't want to have his foot taken off. And then later on in the movie, he saves a life when he's riding a horse. And it specifically, the camera focuses in on that same right foot as he braces in the stirrup to raise himself up to take a shot and save somebody.
Yeah,
And if he didn't
gonna
have that foot, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to play a clip of this scene that you're talking about, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure.
So I don't want to steal your thunder.
I didn't mean to jump ahead. That's just like that was a little thing that jumped out at me in this movie, and I just.
No, you're good. This is exactly where I wanted to play it. So we're gonna play a little bit of the scene here. Hopefully, don't get clipped too much, but here we go. This is him when he just kind of goes out there.
Yeah, he's basically done. Like he's done fighting this war. So he rides out in the middle of nowhere. Because both sides have been sitting there just taking pot shots at each other.
Yeah.
Ray! I got him.
No, you don't.
And he's just like, I'm done, right? And
yeah, he ends up getting celebrated as a hero because he rides out there because he's done with life. He's done with the war. He's done with everything. He just wants to go. But he gets praised as this hero because he rides out there, gets the opposing side to expend all their ammo, and it's black powder. You have to put the powder in there and pack it down, and then you put the ball in there and pack that down. So it's not a quick reload. So he gets all of the opposite side to expend their reload on the Confederacy, and then so the Union can charge ahead. So everybody's like, "You're this big damn hero," and he's like, "No, I just want to be done with everything."
Yeah, let's see here. I can't remember the date it said, but they may have used the wrong flag.
Okay. We may have watched this one together. Initially you said yes, but I think Squeaka ended up settling on. Okay,
they had
so
the
maybe
right one, but the stainless banner falls just in the middle of the 1863, so they may have the wrong Confederate flag. Okay.
Yeah,
well, maybe
she's real good with the history and such.
Wow,
they're just using the one that's the most popular in Hollywood, pretty much.
Well, they had both that what you see there with the typical what you see the stars and bars sort of thing, but they also had another one that was similar to the U.S. flag but had fewer stripes circles. and the circle stars. Yeah, those are the ones they used in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, there's at least there's a lot of them actually. I mean,
yeah,
I didn't realize this until, but if you go down to like Montgomery, they have like a whole plaque of all of them lined up next to each other,
and a lot of them are very regional too. So
yeah,
right. Well, I mean, the regular American flag also had its own different styles, especially in the 1860s as well. Now, 1863 and 1864 were really big years for the Civil War. There was the Gettysburg, right, was happening around that time. There was even riots in New York. So, like, Civil War was, like, I think the peak at this time period. And while I think a lot of soldiers like him, we're done. We're just kind of over it. Let's get this over and done with, right?
You saw the leaders was just like at the top of the hill, just kind of like looking down at the whole thing, like not knowing what to do.
Because like that's the whole discussion they have is like the general shows up to see the show, and then like I forget whatever rank it was, doesn't know what to do, but he sees the general's there, so he feels like he has to do something.
Lieutenant, it was a lieutenant, a major,
lieutenant,
the major, it was the major.
Okay, yeah, major, yeah.
Yeah, so
but I mean, yeah, especially because I mean, just the horrors of the war at this time. Everybody thinks just it's not this big thing, but you got gangrene and muskets where a 50 caliber ball. It's basically a tiny cannonball that was being shot at people. There's a ton of things that were happening during this time that were just horrific. So of course people would be done.
Yeah, and what happens later in that scene is he doesn't die. So he like the Union or Federal soldiers were kind of down and out, and then they finally get like this like like pep talk almost, like a courage to charge the Confederate, because their man just went out there and kind of like did something pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, they think he's charging out there to be awesome. I'm done. Somebody please put a bullet in me.
Yeah, because I
Well,
think
then
at this point he'd rather die than lose his leg.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he gets awarded. He's like the superstar of the military. They don't want him to die really, so they send him off to Fort Hayes.
They
Well, no,
actually
he-
don't sit. He gets a full. He's so respected after that. He gets the post of his request.
Yeah, that's right.
Anything
Like,
he
he gets
wants.
to pick one.
And he basically
Okay.
chooses as far away from everybody as possible because he just
Now,
wants to be away.
Now, everyone remember that he is literally thought as a hero in the U.S. Army at this time when he did this, and you would think like people would know him, right? Like he's probably a well-known person. Well, we're gonna leave it there, but yeah. So Fort Hayes is somewhere in Kansas, and then he wants to go here. He goes here first, and then he wants to go to Fort Sedgwick, which is literally the edge of America at this point in time, which is somewhere between Nebraska and Colorado. And these are both real places. The Fort Hayes, you can go visit it there now. Sedgwick, I think you can, but there's just it's literally dirt mound, like basically what they showed in the movie. And there was a very, if you read more into the Sedgwick or Julesburg area, there was some epic Indian battles. Like I'm talking massacres from both sides in that little area. So it wasn't really the safest place to go, but he probably didn't know that, right? So
Well, I mean, it's wide open. There's nothing to really hide behind out there.
I mean, yeah, it might not. He probably didn't care if it was the safest place because he was already done with everything. He just wanted to get away from everything. He wanted to get away from the war. He wanted to isolate himself. It's pretty clear that was an intentional decision to get away from everything.
and
Now he ends up way more isolated than he intended, I think.
right.
But still,
if you ever driven through the plains of between Colorado and Nebraska, it's you understand like how just
It's nothing.
I mean, even some of the shots in this movie have that very intense sense of isolation.
Yeah, and we're gonna cover a lot. We're gonna go over a lot of that. But yeah, it is just literally just the scenes do it. The scenes themselves, like the cinematography, does a great job of like this dude's literally by himself, right, for the most part. The other big characters in this movie they're not really villains, but I guess you can label them as villains. Is the Pawnee? Pawnee. Sorry,
The Pawnee.
Yeah, they are
actually the guy who's kind of like the first bad guy that we see, like the Pawnee that takes out somebody, is an actor. What's his name? Wes Studi. He was also he played a big role in what was it? Last of the Mohicans. He was one of the main guys there as well. He was Magua.
So this is when you first kind of meet this group of Native Americans here.
A guy short. For sure. What the?
You could see like they're I mean the movie was really good at making this authentic. So like the headdresses, the actors, I mean I think they did a really good job.
I mean, even just some of it keeping consistency, like that necklace around the guy who's on the horse, the necklace around his neck. I think that is actually Wes Studi. You see that on a couple other guys throughout the film, and it helps you identify the differences between the Pawnee and the
Sioux.
It's
a Sioux.
The Sioux or the
Sioux.
or specifically, they call themselves the Lakota. That's right. That's because you can hear that when they're speaking Sioux, they call themselves the Lakota specifically.
Yeah, so these are kind of like the villains. They're the ones going around the plain, causing havoc for pretty much everybody, including other tribes. And
that's one of the things I do like about this movie is how he shows like the tribes not all the tribes got along. You know?
No, and it does show that most we're going to show here in this little scene here, like not all the tribes were
I like Timmons.
Yeah, so they're pretty brutal.
See, in this movie is actually, it's weird because as dramatic as it is, it's not without a little bit of humor. Because in the previous scene, we see Kevin Costner's character wake this guy up by poking him in the butt with an arrow, and then he gets shot with an arrow. So as tragic as this scene is, there's still a weird sort of like awkward sense of humor to it as well.
Yeah.
But
this was one of those another rough scene where like he's all worried about his mules, right? That guy, because that's the guy who takes him from Fort Hayes to Sedgwick, and he kind of learned. Kevin kind of has a little bit of a nice little friendship with him in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole time, Kevin's character Dunbar, he's summarizing all this in his journal.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes into play hugely later on in the movie. So this is one group of them. The other group that's in this movie is the Sioux, and this is the ones that he's neighbors with and he becomes kind of friendly with. And they were a real tribe as well. As you can tell from the versus picture, they had different dresses, they had outfit, they had different hats, they had different styles, even though they were in the same area. So it was kind of interesting. And they were fighting each other for as long as they've been around as well. So they mentioned that in the movie, I think.
Yeah, I mean, in the movie, specifically in the dialogue, they're referred to as Sioux, which I think is actually kind of a blanket term for a lot of the like Plains cultures. But you can hear, if you know the word, the name Lakota, which I've heard in other movies and remember from school, that you can hear that when they're speaking Sioux, they refer to themselves as Lakota, which was specifically, I think, looking this now, was known as the Teton Sioux. They were one of three prominent cultures of the Sioux natives. But yeah, they were specifically it's the Lakota. Okay. But yeah, overall, yes, the Sioux.
Dropping some facts. But as you can tell, they're definitely two different types of styles here of the dresses. And I mean, this version here is more of like what American, I would guess at that time, the white Americans would assume what an Indian would look like, right? With the big headdress.
I mean, which was accurate to some, but not all, obviously.
No.
I look, I'm definitely not an expert on it, but it seems like at least some amount of research and respect was put forward in producing this film. So I would like to think that a lot of what we see is
there was
not
so much
accurate. They try to be.
Right. There was so much respect, I guess, put into this movie that Kevin Costner actually was named a honorary member of the Lakota Nation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he put so much respect into the version of, what were you gonna say, Dev?
No. I'm just, go ahead.
Yeah. So he did, like you said, Dev. Like you liked how he showed both sides of every person, the white man and the two tribes.
Well, see, the reason I brought that up is a lot of the reasons that the tribes never had a successful attack on the troops or anything like that is because they was always fighting each other as well as trying to fight the troops that were coming in there to steal the land. So it kind of plays into everything else that happens later on.
Right. Mm-hmm. So this was pretty stacked with a cast. I mean, you had Kevin Costner, you had Mary McDonald who plays which her story is crazy too. The young girl who her whole family is literally massacred from the Pawnee, and she gets ends up being in this Sioux tribe. And then Graham Greene, he's been in a lot. He
has been in a ton of things.
Then the rest of the cast is pretty much all Native American characters are played by some sort of Native American.
I mean, even if you look at the Americanized names, you still have some folks like Red Crow Westerman and Tattoo Cardinal and things like that. And
Yeah.
you can tell just by the facial structure and everything like that, the folks who have genuine heritage there. And you didn't see a whole lot of like casting a, you know, Mexican dude as a Native American guy in this sort of in this movie.
Which does happen.
Yeah, it does.
Sometimes, yeah. But I think that's why a lot of people liked this movie for its authentic style.
And whether they liked it or not, they should like this stream. Nice plug there, right? As you're saying, like.
Yeah, good job. I like it. Yeah, make sure you do a Trust Wars. So, one thing I read when I was researching this movie about the cast, something kept popping up, and I was like, "This is crazy." So, I don't know if you remember from the movie, the kid who's smiling a lot. His name is something Smiles.
Oh, his name is literally like Smiles a lot.
Yeah. So that.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. I'm not going to spoil it if nobody's seen it. The ending to his Smiles a lot.
Okay,
My favorite character.
Well, settle down. He might not be your favorite after you hear this. So that actor.
Oh no.
He's our
Don't
age.
ruin it.
He's about 40 something. Last year, he got in trouble with the law for human trafficking and drug trafficking.
Why would you ruin that for? Okay, I'm changing favorite character to wind in his hair. My favorite character is wind in his hair. Why'd you have to ruin that for me, JT? Come on, man.
Because if you search any of this up, it's like the first thing. That's a couple things that pops up.
Okay, actor aside, the character of Smiles a Lot is a fantastic character in this movie.
He is, and it's really sad what happened to him. But yes, he's literally on trial right now for.
I mean, that is unfortunate with a lot of. It is unfortunate with a lot of kid actors in Hollywood. It's very common for them to have bad endings to their lives. So, all right,
it's okay, Beard. It's okay.
Why would you ruin that?
I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting fact about the cast. So I'm dropping it down. So,
like an Acme anvil right on my head.
It's a very long movie, and I didn't catch every single name in this like you did. Smiles a Lot. I didn't even know which one that is, to be honest with you.
He's the kid. He's the kid that tries to steal his horse.
Oh, the one that gets his arm messed up and he has to wear a sling for a little while.
He's one of the trio that they want to prove themselves. So they go out there, try to steal his horse. Later on, he's the kid who goes with Kevin Costner's character to go retrieve the rifles, and he's he's like the oldest of that trio. Like he's on the cusp of becoming a man. And at the end, we see him. Spoilers. Everybody else is fighting, and he's basically tending the horses. And he comes up like face to face with a soldier, American soldier, and it was like he gets his face smashed with the butt of a rifle, and I'm just like, damn it, Smiles, I wanted you to have your moment. And then he does. Look, no, I'm spoiling. He stands up and smacks a hatchet in that dude's chest. I'm like, God, Smiles.
Yeah, his character grows. He's kind of like a teenage kid, but then he kind of grows up a little bit. Which
I mean, it is one of those things where like with any of us as kids, we idolize kind of like getting older and doing things and all this other stuff, and then you get hit with life, especially during that time. He gets hit with the worst of life, and then like,
well, would his name change after the fact?
I was wondering, is he still Smiles a lot? Because he doesn't really smile after that moment. Anyway,
I think your Indian name. I think your Indian name sticks with you, forever. Kind of like.
I thought you were telling me my Indian.
I'll beat you. See you later, loser.
I still would drive that damn car if I had it. I'd drive that shit. I'd drive the hell out of that.
Yeah, that's okay. So the cast was fun. Good cast. I mean, I don't think there was not a issue with any of them really.
No, and Mary, I want to shout out Mary McDonnell. Look, I really liked her in the for its faults, the Battlestar Galactica reboot in the early 2000s. I think she was still one of the best characters in that. And even here, which would have been what 10, 15 years before that happened, she is still showing some pretty good acting chops with how she kind of plays that uncertain, kind of scared sort of character.
Yeah, her story is pretty crazy.
Mhm.
Her backstory is like, yeah, her whole family is literally massacred, like I said, and then
Yeah,
she
and
ends up.
I think she's fantastic at this, and absolutely stood up against Kevin Costner. Sometimes you get a co-lead that doesn't really kind of mesh up well, and I think she met him eye to eye on everything in every single scene they were in.
Yeah. Okay, so once he gets to Sedgwick, he kind of like Def, you say, he kind of is isolated. Like he realizes the group that was supposed to be there, that he was supposed to kind of lead, is gone. They deserted. He ends up
Deserted and or dead. We don't really know. There's not really a solid answer.
Yeah, let's not talk about the guy who gave him the orders. When he first got there, it's just like,
Oh
I
my
peed
God, that
myself.
guy.
I don't even care.
I wasn't going to bring that one guy up, but you decided to open your mouth up on that. I wasn't going to
See,
about him.
I know that guy because he played I'm
Well-
pretty sure he played a Gould on Stargate SG-1. So I couldn't see that him
We
being
want
in
to
that
leave a
scene.
little mystery for people who
Yeah.
haven't seen this movie. Okay.
Okay.
But yes, basically he ends up at the fort where he wanted to go. Timmons leaves him, but he makes Timmons leave all the supplies because he thinks
Yeah.
that somebody's going to come back, even though there's nobody there. He fort because this
No.
entire time he's waiting on people to come back and reinforce him because he thinks the message is going to make it back to command.
That's true. I forgot about that. And he finds out that there's a lot of dead animals everywhere. There's this lone wolf, kind of like him, right? He's like a lone wolf out there.
He calls him Two Socks.
Two Socks, yeah. He hasn't. It takes the movie a while for him to actually meet up with the natives. They're around because of the scene with Timmons, and then there's a scene where I thought it was kind of funny where he thinks he hears things outside and it ends up being his horse.
Yeah.
So he's very nervous.
Well, I mean, the first time he actually comes up with somebody, it's with the character Kicking Bird, played by Graham Greene, which has been fantastic in everything he's played. And Kicking Bird shows up and he's like, "There's this random horse out here. Why is this horse is here?" And he's not trying to steal it. He's like, I get the feeling he's trying to rescue it. Meanwhile, Dunbar, Kevin Costner's character, is naked, taking a bath in the pool over to the side, and he's like, "What do I do?" He basically just runs up naked, just like, ah.
Yeah, he kind of scares them off too.
Yeah.
And then they steal his horse, and the horse comes back. A lot of stuff happens to him. It's pretty.
Oh, was it Cisco? That horse. Oh my God, that horse. He gets stolen like 4 or 5 times. Comes back every single time.
Yeah, it's his horse. It's the horse that he was on. That's safe. That kind of like was.
Oh
on.
yeah. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that's the one he's basically stole to ride out to die.
Yeah, it's his horse. He was able to keep that horse. He was, and that horse like literally was his companion. Throughout the entire
Don't remind
movie.
me.
Yeah, he's trying to. It's like for some reason, the wolf. If you notice throughout the movie, the wolf sees something, and then the horse reacts, and then the horse reacts, then that alerts him.
Yeah,
it was like bam, bam, bam. And then he knew something was up.
Right. So he does come across the Sioux first because they're more inviting, right? They're more curious. Then there's two Indians here, two characters.
It's Kicking Bird on the left. And that's played by Graham Greene, and on the right is Wind in His Hair, played by Rodney Grant.
Wind in His Beard. Yeah. Kicking Bird is very open to dialogue, trying to figure out who he is. I don't want anything to do with this guy. Right? It's almost like his enemy at first. Yeah, Wind in His Beard. And I was going to play another scene for all of you. He first kind of comes across this group, and I think it's kind of funny. I always thought this was hilarious scene. You probably already know what I'm going to show, Beard. So, let's see here. Let me share.
I better not be the belt tightening thing again. Let me just say.
Oh no, not yet. So here you go. This is a scene where he trying to describe. He wants to see buffalo for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because he's only ever heard about them, but never seen them, and it's kind of
that's most Americans at this time. Yeah.
Because despite how big the herds were, they moved so frequently, and it was such a vast area.
Kicking Bird's the one in the green, and then the other one is in obviously not the green, but he's like he's lost his mind. Kicking raccoon. Okay. I mean, this is what you would have to do. You would have to describe yourself like whatever you're talking about somehow.
Yeah, and this is before we know that they actually have somebody who had previously spoken English. So yeah, this is where we learned that the buffalo name or the bison name is TANKA.
Yeah,
it's the first exchange of communication.
TANKA.
I think Beard, if you were to grow your hair again, you should do this haircut. I think it would be
I can't because that's where it doesn't grow anymore, JT. Thanks for reminding me.
TANKA. Buffalo.
You can always get one of those hats with the hair that's
yeah, I always like
Kicking Bird is the one. I think he's described. He's not the chief. He's like a holy man or something, as he's described later on. So he's a respected member of the community, of the tribe. But he's definitely more outgoing because wind in his hair is a obstinate, challenging kind of alpha male sort of personality.
Yeah, he's like the leader of the warriors type dude.
Yeah. Now the scenery, like I said earlier, is pretty epic for this epic movie. So here's a picture of some of those scenes. This is a scene where he's going to go finally talk to the Indian tribe with his American flag. But look how open that is.
That you see in the background, those two tiny little like mud hut buildings. That's the fort.
Yeah,
that is where he requested to go to.
And like I said, with the authentication of this movie, if you remember these pictures, that's literally exactly what it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
It was like two little huts. So it wasn't. They didn't like make it just this way to make it. It was really this is what it kind of looked like.
Yeah.
And then the scene above that is another scene where he finds, what's her Indian name? The woman
Stands with Fist.
Stands with Fist. And he's taking her back to the tribe because he finds her hurt. But Beard gave me an Indian name. Oh, really? Wow.
Hey, Goose, you big stud!
That's me, honey.
Take me to bed or lose me forever.
Show me the way home, honey.
Wow, look at that.
Y'all are just gonna have to wonder.
Beard 2 huts, please. Oh man, that's pretty funny. All I know is Beard. I like that people are coming up with some really good names for you. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Keep it going.
Yeah. All right, so now one of my favorite things of this movie is the scenery. Like, because you do get a good glimpse of the Colorado, Nebraska area.
That feeling of isolation, and as isolated as those scenes look, just think that by horse at a reasonable speed, you are days away from the next settlement in any direction at best.
Yeah, nowadays there's probably like a freeway right there.
Yeah, exactly.
But even that freeway is like miles and miles away from the nearest gas station. You better make sure you got a full tank of gas when you're out.
Yeah, but at least you're going like 85 miles per hour.
Yeah.
You know?
But,
America. What a place.
Nebraska at any point, there's going to be a lot of nothing for a little while.
Well, this fort, from what I researched, was in the upper northern east corner of Colorado and like the south corner of Nebraska. It was the Nebraska-Colorado territory.
See, I was kind of wondering about a specific location because at some point they do mention that the
so again,
what he talks about, like, you know, the Western expansion.
So it's right in that upper corner there where you see the Colorado territory.
Okay, because at some point they say, like, you know, the Texans showed up and we took care of them, but obviously the Plains communities moved around a whole lot, so they covered a lot of territory because they were following the herds.
Well,
there's also their sustenance and everything.
Yeah, there's also a scene where I don't know if it's a tribe or a group of people. They go to some outpost that's been destroyed, and it has Spaniard hats, like conquistador.
Oh,
style.
well, yeah, that's something that the chief, when he's talking to the chief, that he's talking about, you know, generations before they had fought the conquistadors off, and they'd fought these guys off. He said the Texans showed up, we fought them off, but obviously with the Plains natives, they covered so much territory, you can't really pin them down to one location or the other unless you have a
So
a time frame.
Squeaka's dropping some facts. Don't forget the Texas border went all the way up.
That's right.
Panhandle didn't get until to join the Union.
That's right.
So it's feasible, Texas. But yeah, Texans were everywhere. All right, so we're gonna do Beard's favorite part, and this is the numbers here, and we're gonna find out what this movie cost to make and what it did.
11, 92, 12.
Okay, so and then Jacob says until Oklahoma wages.
Yeah.
Yes, and if you're curious on what happens in the Panhandle of Oklahoma, I did a video on that on my channel at Late Night with Cap, so you can definitely check that out over there. Yeah, that was fun. Budget, opening weekend, and gross worldwide. This is all you folks in the chat. This is when you're going to guess those numbers, and then Beard, you have to guess too. So
I know I hate this because I don't know these type of things.
So I'm going to end the normal Q&A. So I guess we got a lot of Beard's Indian name. So now we're going to do a different one. But as just think about what numbers would you think this made?
I think we found Squeak and Mouse's Indian name. It's Nerd of Maps.
Nerd of Maps. Okay. Yeah.
Let me see here.
I caught a glimpse of this, so I'm trying to stay out of this one.
You can't be out of it.
I have no frame of reference for this.
Okay.
And see,
we also have a new question in the chat. What would Death Row's Indian name be? So what would Death Row's Indian name be?
Okay, I have to think about this one. Now I'm thinking about two different things right now because I'm trying to think of numbers, and I'm also trying to think about how it could just be like.
Yeah. Death Row's name would be Sun Blocker the Sun with his glasses.
No, I'm thinking to be something like.
It would be like Daywalker.
Oh no, I'm thinking like Here's No Stampede.
Here's No Stampede.
Okay, so budget. I'm just going with. I have no frame of reference for this. I'm going for like 110 million
for the budget.
For budget.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's a lot of location shooting. It's got Kevin Costner. It's
remember it's 1990.
Well, I know. See, now you're making me think it's like a whole bunch of that. I'm sticking with 110. I made my call. I'm thinking opening weekend. It probably didn't do that well. I think it had word of mouth.
This also came out in November, right before Oscars, a couple months before Oscars, and right before Thanksgiving. So this came out on November 11th, 1990.
Opening weekend, I think it probably did like 40 million.
Chief Second Troll. I like that one.
Yeah. Troll 2. Yes.
I won't allow it.
What are you going to do to me, Daddy?
Tighten my belt by one loop so I don't feel hunger pains. And your sister and mother will have to do likewise. Okay, Joshua, you want to get rough with me. You want to show me that you don't like the choice of this house for our vacation by going on a hunger strike. Well, I'll accept the challenge. But just remember, when I was your age, I really did suffer from hunger. We'll see who gets through this. But just remember, I've got more practice than you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Why would you do that to me?
This is my favorite clip. That is literally why I kept it around. It's it's up there. It's
so
a good clip.
I think this probably okay. I'm just gonna go back to it. I'm gonna say like 110 million. It's probably less, but I'm sticking with it. Opening weekend 40 million. Gross worldwide, I think it made its budget back, but it's going to take some time. So probably it made 200 million.
I'll say the budget's half of what he's saying.
Okay,
and
so
then
50.
Yeah, and then probably 100 times that is what they made back.
Okay, all right. Well, here we go.
That's what I caught a glimpse, but I wasn't.
All right,
I catch a glimpse sometimes, but I this one I did not.
All right, I'm gonna give everyone one more minute here to guess in the chat what these numbers could be. But in the meantime, I want to let everyone know who has subscribed and has hit the like. We definitely.
I love you. You love me.
By the way, we can't play the full song of that because we'll get clipped for copyright for some reason.
Dang purple dinosaur and his copyright.
Yeah, Squeak always agrees with me. It's always usually good. Okay, so here we go. The budget was 22 million.
Damn.
Not a very expensive film pretty at that time. The opening weekend barely made.
Damn.
Almost was close to 600,000 for the first weekend. We've seen other movies like Fievel make millions in this first weekend around the same year.
All right. Well, I overestimated by far the first two, but I definitely underestimated the third.
Gross worldwide eventually jumped to 424 million. Now, if you're thinking if I got my numbers incorrect, no, I'm correct. We'll show you later when we do the theater. This movie did not hit. It was more word of mouth, really. It came out the first couple of weeks. People started talking about it. Reviews came in. Because again, like Defro said, you have to really be into this movie to go watch a 3-hour movie when this came out in 1990.
Well, I figured that Kevin Costner's name would have carried more weight.
Yeah, but this time he was still getting started. I mean, he had movies, yes. I mean, this is before Robin Hood. This is before.
Well, I mean, I know he's still getting started, but he had enough weight to,
well, this was
make his own passion project.
Yeah, this was his first director job.
Most people,
right
most people with Kevin Costner were used to see him in like Untouchables, where he's just like this, normal dude, or he's a baseball player, right? He's not. What is he doing, right? They don't really expect him to be an epic film director.
I was about to say, but he's got that hair, but also I have to call it the fact that he's got that beard, and by that beard I mean a very fake beard, a very fake mustache. The entire movie that kind of annoyed me until he finally got rid of it.
Why?
Yeah, he's got the Ultimate Warrior mullet going on there.
I mean, why are you ripping on his beard?
I mean, I if it actually was his real beard, he should have gone with a fake.
I mean, maybe he couldn't grow it out in time. Most people can't grow beards.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just. We're not gonna be a hateful group here on the beardless.
I will.
Okay, you. Yep.
Look, I can't hate on the hair, so I have to hate on something.
Okay, all right.
He does have a pretty sweet mullet throughout the whole thing, though.
He does.
Oh, the man's got good hair. He's got great hair.
Yeah. His mullet game, but you notice he never, like, the hair in the front never grew long. It was always the back that grew long.
Yeah, that was the 90s, 80s, though. I mean, he might have been also filming Robin Hood, because Robin Hood came right after this, and he had long.
Yeah, the only Robin Hood without an English accent, right?
Hey, he started out. Don't brag, man. Everyone's just like, jeez.
I just remember that. I remember that from the Robin Hood Men in Tights with Carrie Eloise. He was like, and I have an English accent.
He just like spikes the camera.
Yeah. Good stuff. So there you go. It ended up making some good chunk of change, but it just took a little bit to do. I'm sure they knew that when it came out. Now, one big thing in this movie, besides the length of the movie, is the music. It does set the tone in pretty much every. It's all musical score. I like Kicking Bird's mullet better. Yeah, a lot of Indians have mullets. Each score of the music or whatever, it kind of let the scene happen. Like when he's watching the buffalo, or when he's meeting the natives, or whatever, right?
Yeah, the score never really tries to stand out on its own, and this is something I've said about a lot of movies. Is sometimes the score is forgettable because it feels like it's just a part of the movie. It's not this grand like Lord of the Rings sort of scale or Star Wars sort of scale. It's its own character. So when it needs to shine, it shines. When it needs to be part of the background, it shies back. And I think the score in this movie does that a lot. Because those big scenes like you're talking about, when you see in the buffalo, there's no speech, there's no anything, there's just action and the score and the sound and their hooves galloping across the plains, that all kind of plays in together.
So I'm gonna do another clip of this, and we're really gonna see. We're gonna hopefully hear that pretty well of what you're talking about.
Oh, it's a great scene here.
It is actually a really good scene.
I'm assuming this was some sort of like animal preserve where they actually had I'm assuming they get a lot of their money from Hollywood to fund preserving a lot of these bison.
Yeah, look at this. Yeah, this is real.
Yeah, because I mean, even like CG at the time couldn't do this. I'm sure there's some practical effects where they get shot and you see like close-ups, like that kind of thing. But for the most part, this is just like actual bison running around.
Yeah. And one thing to note about this buffalo scene is this is not he hears the buffalo at night, and he gets really excited, and he's like, "Hey, I saw the buffalo," and they're all excited.
He's the one that actually hears them because he hears them at night, and he runs and tells them. And when he first shows up, a lot of everybody else just like beats him up. It's like, "Oh, white man's here." It's like fighting. No. He was like, Tatanka.
Yeah, and
does the thing.
Well, yeah, they know who he is. He just hasn't been hanging out with them like he does later on the film.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of them there that don't like him still.
Yeah, the sad part about it is when they go try to find the buffalo the next day, they find a lot of them skinned and left with meat. Like the meat just left out.
Yeah, because they were harvested for primarily their skins, apparently secondarily their tongues, at least is what's said in the movie. I would assume that their horns would have been harvested as well, but at least in the movie we don't see that.
Yeah, and so like Kevin, this is the first time Kevin's like, or Dunbar's like, wow, like my people are kind of ruthless, right? To what this land offers.
Because these people, I forget exactly, because I looked it up. Tatanka doesn't mean specifically like, buffalo or bison, but it has to do with the fact that it was like their source of everything. So it was skins for warmth. It was food, the meat, even like the organs, and like they would use like stomachs for like water flask and things like that.
Right. And Kevin or Dunbar, he realizes that, my people are like kind of not realizing, the value in these animals. And we find out later that this group of natives, the tribe, they go out and find the people who did what they did to the buffalo, and they actually, I think they did something to them, because they don't show you what they did, but they show like scalped hairs. So not only was the Pawnee violent, they were also violent, but they weren't.
Yes, but I also don't think that was in the 3-hour cut that I watched, because I don't recall.
You didn't see that? You didn't see that?
Oh,
I
you didn't watch
dozed off.
You didn't watch the extended cut?
No, I watched the 3-hour cut. 3-hour cut. No.
So the extended cut shows a scene where
hang in there. Just
they go find the the people who slaughtered the buffaloes. So,
Mm.
but you
Yeah.
don't see the slaughter of them. But this is another screenshot of the the herd that they show, and Kevin's pretty amazed by it. So this is after the initial disappointment of, and they're moving with the buffalo. These people move with the buffalo.
This is the sequence I was talking about earlier where was it wind in his hair that actually was like it I forget who it was that was at risk of being
I'll
trampled
be
by
right
a buffalo.
back. You keep talking. I'll be right
Okay.
back.
I think this might be the scene where kind of like they had the transition between wind in his hair being an antagonist to kind of being the reluctant friend. But I may be wrong as who it was. But one of the tribe members was at risk of being trampled by a buffalo.
I think it was
or bison.
Smiles a lot.
Was it Smiles?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're right. It was Smiles.
Yeah, because he puts the buffalo down like right in front of him, and he's like, "Oh,
yeah." This is the scene
they were
where
trying to get him to go away, and they wouldn't go away.
yeah, because this is when you see Dunbar use that right foot that they tried to cut off at the very beginning of the movie, and it focuses in real specific on him bracing against that stirrup and lifting himself up to take that shot. And this is a moment that definitely wouldn't have happened had they taken that foot off.
Yeah, you're talking about.
And it's kind of it's like the moment that truly endears himself to this tribe, because they liked him because he was like, hey, here's all the TANKA, the bison, the buffalo. But at that moment when he saves one of their own, that's kind of when like they like actually bring him in.
Well, he does that twice. He also does that with the woman character. I forgot her name. What's her?
Stands with Fist.
Stands with Fist.
Yeah, but she also was technically kind of maybe not.
Yeah, we know that
her origin is kind of because was she brought in as a slave and brought in as part of the family? It's kind of left like murky.
No, they explain what happened.
Origins are.
No, they don't.
The version I watched didn't.
In the extended version, they show her entire origin story, and they show why she got her name. And I was gonna say,
well, they tell why they got her name in the regular version, but they don't really say who were the folks who slaughtered her family in the theatrical cut.
Yeah, in the extended version, they do show that her entire family was slaughtered by the other tribe, and she runs away. They find her, and then she ends up being like a child slave for these people. And then she stands up to this woman who beat her, and she punches her in the face, and that's why they call her.
Stands with Fist. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I was going to explain all this, but you jumped ahead, so it's okay.
Sorry. See, this is what happens when I watch for the one time there's an extended version that I don't watch. Everybody else on the panel does.
Well, for the record, I didn't know I was watching the extended version until I got 3 hours into it, and the damn thing still wasn't over.
And for the record, Beard, I mentioned this early in the stream too, just so you know.
All right.
Yeah, it's okay. You're just now you're just gonna get this all night instead of your other clip. So we're just gonna play your favorite.
George of the jungle, strong as he can be.
Bring it on.
I'm just kidding, bud. Don't worry.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing.
I can say stupider.
You can. We love you here. It's okay. All right. Okay, let's do in the theaters, and that way you can find out what people watched besides this movie in the movie theater.
Shut your drums and stop kicking the seats! We're trying to watch the movie!
Yes. Yeah, you're okay, Jacob. No, the government, both sides did some horrible things, and they show that in this movie really well. So
yeah. When you look back at history, basically nobody was awesome. They were just less awful people.
The two movies that came out this week at the same time, brand new, was Child's Play 2 and Dances with Wolves. And Child's Play 2 was the #1 movie in this week. Then you had Ghost, Jacob's Ladder, Quinley, Down Under, Memphis Belle was on here. That's one of Rick's favorite movies. Not a lot of, I mean, not a lot of like, sure, I'll go see this movie. This weekend wasn't kind of the greatest, but Ghost was pretty popular at the time. It was in its 18th week.
Jacob's Ladder is a very dark movie.
Yeah, and then Child's Play 2, though, it just beat everything by at least double. So a lot of people like Child's Play. It was kind of a creepy movie.
Do you think it's because of the kid or because John Ritter?
Wait, what do you want?
Child's Play 2. Or am I thinking something else?
No,
I'm thinking Problem Child.
No, this is
hold
Play.
on.
The doll that comes to life and murders everybody.
Okay, that's Chucky. Never mind.
Hold on. I didn't realize this. That gross for nearly like almost $600,000 for Dances with Wolves was in only 14 theaters. That's actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's
it is pretty good, but it was a limited release.
You would have to think they probably did. A lot of theaters didn't want to take a chance on a 3-hour movie in place of everything else that they had to watch too. So
that must mean that word of mouth really like spread it into other theaters, because otherwise it wouldn't have made what we saw in the worldwide.
Yeah. So if you do an average of that number, right? Say it was in, I don't know, 1,200 theaters, right?
Oh, I'm doing numbers.
You are? You're doing numbers right now?
I'm checking real quick.
Divide and then multiply.
Yeah, we're smart here. Look at him go. Look at this guy.
Okay, so hey, bring the numbers up. I have to see them to reference them. Don't put my face there. Nobody wants to see that. Okay, maybe one person wants to see that. Okay, so Child's Play this weekend made about $5,300, like $5,400 per theater they were in. So let me run that by. I mean, Dances with Wolves is probably still going to be less, but that's what 598, 257, and 14. No, actually, that's like nearly $43,000 per theater. So per theater,
43,000 times 2,000 theaters if they had it for 1996.
Yeah, this is fun.
So yeah, if Dances with Wolves had that turnout and as many theaters as Child's Play 2, they would have made $81 million on that weekend.
And that would have been really good back then.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so per theater, that is a damn good return.
Yeah. That Joker would like to see it.
We've never dove into numbers like that before, but I just realized the theater difference between the first and the 11th.
That's why I was saving it for you, Beard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Quickly Down Under is a good movie too.
It is. There's a TV show too about it. Yeah, the dead buffalo is a sad scene. I just saw that. All right, so those are the numbers. Here's a shot of his horse. Again, this is his favorite steed.
Cisco.
And it is a U.S. horse. It's got the label on there, so they gave it to him. I'm not going to spoil the movie, but
yeah, it gets it gets really dark.
There's some parts in this movie you're like, holy cow, like really? You're gonna do that to this guy?
So I take it back. It's not Smiles a Lot or Wind in His Hair. I think Cisco is my favorite character. They're all gonna have to fight. I don't know who it's gonna be.
It's a very beautiful horse, but the funny thing about this horse is every time he gets stolen, he runs back, and he always hurts the person that steals it.
Yes.
And I was really rooting for this guy. Yeah. So, but yeah, you got the horse there, and we showed him a little bit earlier in some slides. Is the two socks,
the wolf,
his companion, and he starts feeding him, right, and the wolf comes back. But Def, you're right. You were talking about how they kind of react to things, so he knows what's going on. They kind of talk to him. And then this is his love interest, and she has a crazy backstory. Her husband is also, like I said, her family gets her original family gets massacred, but then her husband gets murdered by the other tribe.
the Pawnee,
yeah, and so he's kind of like, she's just kind of, and when Kevin finds her, she's on the brink of also losing her life, like he did in the Civil War, and he saves her.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty crazy scene. And they end up falling in love and they go May Winky.
Yeah.
They go sneak off by the river
Yeah,
because
they have-
she is in mourning, and she's not supposed to move on until her adopted father, Kicking Bird, says she can, basically.
yeah, and his wife realizes what's going on here, and she's like,
Oh
"You
yeah.
should get-"
Let's be honest. All three of us.
Yeah.
If something was happening, we would be the last to know between us and the lady, right?
Right.
I'll fess up to it.
Hey, the walls on the teepees are very thin. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could, you know, listen in on the conversations and other things that are happening.
Well, true, but we also see that, Kicking Bird and his wife just. We see Kicking Bird and his wife going on it while everybody else is sleeping.
All the big girls get loose with it. All the skinny girls let Bruce hit it. Let a player cut the knot.
I always forget about that clip.
Your big stud.
That's me, honey.
Take me to bed.
Lot of things happen in the teep.
The tree touched me.
Yeah, then you get
no.
then you get the
I haven't seen either.
This is how we know that we need to wrap this up, because JT's going ham with the clips.
No, I'm just telling Death Row like what the teepee sounded like.
That is correct.
If the TP's knocking, don't come. I mean, if the TP's rocking, don't come and knock.
America. What a place.
Good stuff. But no, they do fall in love. They end up getting married. It's a wonderful story, but go watch it yourself. I think it's one of the best parts of this whole movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of
what?
I think Def just froze up there as soon as he said there's a lot of
what?
Okay, I just said the TP flaps were flying around, right?
Okay. Or TP flaps. Okay. Now there is some truth to the story. The cultures in this area were called the horse. What were they called? The Plains horse frontier. But they at the end of the movie, they basically kind of tell you what happened to these people. 13 years later, their homes were destroyed. Buffalo were gone. This is because of Western migration from the Mississippi River, and the last band of the Sioux actually went to Fort Robinson, Nebraska, and the horse, what they called them, was kind of just basically wiped out, and the American frontier was soon to pass into history. Now, this is right at the end of the movie. There is a scene where there's multiple scenes in this movie where they're asking him, hey, when are more of you going to come? Right? The tribes know something's happening. They just feel it, that there's some force coming. They just don't know what it is, right? He doesn't have the heart to tell them that there's a whole lot more of us than you. And, we have things that you've never seen before, right?
Yeah.
Guns, locomotives, a lot of things. And you would think, though, like tribes from the eastern coast, if they moved out here, you'd be like, hey, bro, there's all this happening here.
Eventually, when he does like fess up, that's when we get the thing with the conquistador helmet. It's like, we took care of these people, we took care of these people, we took care of these people, and we always make it, how many could there be? And I think what he says is the numbered like the stars.
Yeah.
And so they're still like steadfast in that we will make it. When we see the end of the movie, where obviously we know they don't.
Yeah. And you can get into all kinds of things with this conversation of why or what happened or who did what, but it is kind of a sad part of history that and kind of an amazing part of history where we were able to expand this far and do these things to progress the country. But in doing so, there were other people that kind of didn't quite progress as much. So, which
Well, you
was
can also
sad.
got to remember a lot of Indians were territorial as well, so they wouldn't have communicated with the ones out west
I know.
and east. You know what I mean? They would have.
Yeah,
just
they
been
show that. Yeah, and you know, it's just what it is. It's happened everywhere in the world, but it is something that we always kind of like need to acknowledge. Sometimes I feel. Now this movie, the end. Actually, no, hold up. I'm not going to do this part right. I'm going to do this. I'm gonna do something. This movie, the ending. There's multiple kind of endings. There's like ending to show him falling in love. There's ending how the tribes move on, and then you get to the part where he kind of just says, "I'm leaving the military. I'm just going to be like a wild man, right?" I want to get your guys' point. I want to get you guys' opinion on this. I feel like he literally deserted as an American soldier. Like, when you sign up for these things, you're supposed to continue on your service until you're said you're done, pretty much.
Well, yes.
By
the definition, yes, he did. But he had also, by the time he made that decision, had lived for a year, maybe two. The timeline is a little bit unclear, with no reinforcements showing up. So in his mind, he could have seen it as like the American military had abandoned him, and he had moved on. And he'd kind of like joined the tribe.
That's why I wanted to ask you this, but because I get the point of view when the other group of the cavalry does show up, right? They actually start coming into the land. They feel like he's a traitor, and I get their point of view. They were kind of jerks about it, but
yeah, they definitely think he's a traitor because by the book, yes, he is, but by his perspective, nobody had ever shown up to reinforce him, because we see that early on in the movie when he's writing in his journal. He's like,
no one knew that
somebody's going to show up. Somebody's going to show up, but yeah, he doesn't know that. What's his face doesn't get back to report that he's the only one there, and so he's moved on. And even when he goes back to recover something from that fort, he expects nobody to be there. Only to find there's a whole bunch of people there.
It's his journal. He goes back for his journal.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing that kills me about when he goes back. That one lieutenant that did see him when he first got out there, it was given orders to go there, was in that group of people.
Yes.
And he didn't even recognize him. He's just like, I don't know.
I forgot that.
What asshole. I'm like,
yeah, you're right. The guy who...
it was, I think his name is Lieutenant Elgin.
Yes, he was the guy in the room when the crazy dude shot himself.
Yeah. It's played by Charles Rocket. Which is,
right. He did not recognize him.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I guess that could play it. I guess it could play it a little bit more into the uncertainty as to how much time had passed. Because if you'd seen somebody for like a day, because basically Dunbar shows up.
Remember the name or
but he knew he was out there. He knew he was sent out there.
Maybe, but I mean, by the time he shows up, he's dressed more like the natives.
Now you're gonna make me go watch that scene again, because when he says his name, he kind of hesitates.
Yeah.
And then he says, whatever. I'm gonna take this for myself. Again, we watched the extended version, so you may have not seen this scene.
And I mean, he may have seen it as he's a traitor anyway, so I'm not going to even
that's what I'm saying. Like,
defend him, sort of thing.
I get all the point of views here. Like, I get Kevin. Like, look, you guys gave up on me, so why do I care? But I understand too, by the other side, like, look, we sent you out here to do something, and you literally just.
Even more to your point is the ambiguity of how everything ends is that he kind of does go off to be a wild man and be solo, because he knows that they're going to come after him as a traitor. So he doesn't want to be with the tribe. So when they're hunting him, if they're going after him, and a white man dressed as a native and everything, that they're not going to be chasing the tribe. So he kind of abandons both communities that he's been a part of by the end of the film.
Yeah, he does, but he has a different, the community that the Indian community, they truly see him as one of them. Remember the guy?
Oh my God. the what's it, wind in his hair at the end when he's yelling. It's like, you recognize me as your friend.
You
I'm
always
just
like
like,
to steal my thunder.
oh, sorry.
It's okay.
This
You
is one
go.
of the-
You're more passionate about it. Go.
That's
Right
one of
ahead.
those scenes where it's just like, I mean, I watched this
Are you
with
gonna start
Squeaka.
crying?
I watched this with Squeaka, and we were both just kind of like, dude, just shout back at him. Come on, do it.
He doesn't know what he's saying.
He knows what he's saying. He knows the speech. He's learned it anyway.
Well, I don't really want to spoil the entire ending of this movie because I know it's almost a 24-year-old movie, but it's a really good, from start to finish. It really captivates a lot of things of that time period. And
it's
like
kind
I said,
of an open ending, really.
Jacob, I hope you do give this one another try because it is really, it's a real good movie to watch as an adult. And yes, it kind of is open ended. There was rumors of a second movie, but Kevin never did it. So
Well, here's why. Well, here's why the rumor is because in 2001, the writer of the book created another book as a sequel to this one.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
And, hold on, I can tell you, it's called The Holy Road.
Oh yeah, I see that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently, because I didn't know this until we started the stream, and I decided to look up the book thing. It was only made into a book at the behest of Kevin Costner because it was originally like a film treatment, and Kevin Costner like got a hold of it or whatever. Was like, hey, you should make this into a novel, and then I can make it into a movie.
Okay.
So it's kind of one of those weird like Hollywood like Ouroboros eating a snake and eating its own tail sort of thing.
Well, he did just come off of Yellowstone recently, so he.
No, he's doing that other thing where he's making like these long episodes, movies on HBO that are going to be like 6 movies. So he's doing something else. So Kevin hit big on this movie. 1991 winner Oscar. He won Best Picture. He won Best Director. He won Best Writing, or the guy won Best Writing. The other guy, cinematography, sound editing, and score. This movie hit big in the Oscars. Like it was just literally like everyone's favorite. It ended up having, I think, I saw. Let me see here. I know I looked this up earlier. Where'd it go? But I think it won over. It got nominated for almost 50 awards and won a good chunk of those.
Look, there are plenty of movies while you're looking that up that are nominated and win Oscars that didn't release in a lot of theaters that I kind of look at and go, yeah, nobody actually cares about that except people in Hollywood. I don't think that about this one. I think this should have released in far more theaters than it did.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was so successful, not only in awards, but in making its money is, kind of astounding when you think about that. It released in 14 theaters its first weekend.
Yeah, it had 55 wins and 39 nominations. So a total of 80, 90 some odd stuff. So we're going to do our final review here on Criticlist. Beard, what is Criticlist?
Criticlist is a place where you can go and review movies or see where people like us review movies. There are no critics there. It's just fans of movies. They are friends of us. They're not sponsoring this in any way. We just kind of like them and like supporting them.
Okay. What did we end up with Death Row's Indian name? What's his Indian name?
They're probably too afraid to say something about me being deaf.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm not. Here's no Stampede.
Okay, here's no Stampede.
Like you can't rely on technology back in the day.
I just ended that.
No. Hold on. I got a better one. Say again. That's your name. Say again.
All right, so we're gonna go. I think this is kind of in the most excellent range here.
Chifa.
Chifa. That's a good one. What a lot. What a lot.
Yeah.
I think this is probably it's up in the 90s. I don't know if it's above mid 90s, probably low 90s, because there's a lot of things in here. The transitions are weird from scene to scene, at least in the theatrical cut that I watched. Some scenes feel like they don't need to exist because they're never really referenced again. And I don't know if that's because it's referencing the book or anything like that, but there's a little bit of kind of like jarring things and things I think could be cut. So I think low 90s is probably good for here.
Well, if you watch the extended version, it kind of fills some gaps probably. I mean, it's another hour. So,
with another hour, it better fill some gaps.
Defro, what do you think? Are we in
sure.
the low 90s or mid 90s here?
I'm pretty much where you guys are in the low 90s on this one.
Low 92 most excellent. It's still most excellent.
Because it could have been shorter, definitely. Because we watched the extended version, it definitely could have been shorter.
Even the theatrical cut could have been shorter.
Yeah, so we got more than we bargained for. Let's put it that way. And
yeah, there's some graphic language in here. It's not much though. There's not a lot of.
No.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Kevin Costner ass in it.
There is some Costner booty.
Okay, that's in the sexual content. There is
I would say a lot of violence, not a ton. It's not over the top gory violence, but there is violence.
Well,
the animal violence is pretty bad.
There's some. I'm going to say we're kind of more in the middle here of a lot and ton because.
Yeah.
I mean, there's scalping. So
there's scalping in the theatrical. See, I'm going for the theatrical cut. In the theatrical cut, there's one scalping.
There's a lot of warfare. Let's just put it that way. There's a lot of warfare. So, okay. So, yes, there are some. What'd you say, Kevin
Costner booty. Bootay.
Okay, we're doing Costner Bootay. Oh, it sounds like someone's actual real name.
There's a Costner booty and tent flaps flapping.
What?
You can't call them tent flaps.
TP flaps flapping.
Oh my god.
TP flaps. Okay. I swear. This is
somebody's actually going to look at this review and wonder what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah. That sounds like a band name right there. Costner Booty and TP Flaps.
It is a band. That could be your Indian name. Costner Booty and TP Flaps. Okay. It does have some political bias on this. I don't know like if it's a slight left or not.
I wouldn't say it has modern political bias, like as in left or right. It obviously has some because it's like historical. So there's going to be a little bit of bias there on how the history is written. I think for the most part, I think it's fairly respectful and portraying how, not awesome America was whenever it was expanding across the plains. But I don't think I don't think that it applies to modern politics.
Yeah, because if it was modern, if it was modern, you would never see any of the Indian on Indian brutality in this movie.
It's respectful to all sides, and I think I don't know if it's family friendly.
I would say slightly to maybe.
Yeah.
For the most part, there's not a lot that actually has to be cut out for TV, and that's my judgment. If it doesn't have a whole lot that needs to be cut out for TV, it's pretty family friendly.
I mean, it's PG-13.
Yeah.
It is pretty entertaining. It's an entertaining film.
Yeah.
If I was like it wasn't my first watch, but if it was a first watch, I would probably be like, oh, I got some value out of it. So what do you want to do on the final say here? I already said TP Flaps.
Don't say TP Flaps.
Let's just say a great movie. No, let's say
watch the theatrical cut, not the extended.
Epic movie, or history buff. Let's just do that. I spelled history wrong, but yeah, let's do that. Cool. We'll submit that there. There you go. I think it's a good movie about America. It kind of shows you what was going on in the middle of America at the time, and a crucial time period for us.
Oh, hey, look at that. I just got a notification that After the Weekend posted a review for Criticless. Hey, they have an app. Again, not sponsored. We just like them.
Yeah. Look at you go.
That is correct.
I didn't actually plan that. My phone just buzzed. I looked down. I was like, "Oh, hey, Criticalist review. Who's that?" Oh, it's us.
You could follow us over there, by the way. Also, we're running kind of a little over here, but just so you know, we have another top 5 rentals movie video coming out tomorrow. 1992 is that one, and 91 came out last week. You can also check out 85 through 90 on the channel. Go check them out if you haven't. They're doing pretty good, and we're actually getting pretty good subscribers from it. So anybody that's new here, and if you're watching now or later, thanks for coming on aboard here. Literally, you're seeing what you get on these live streams. Is we're talking about fun. We just have fun talking about movies, and we do some shenanigans on the way. So, so if you enjoy that and you enjoy hanging out with us, stick around. But no, 1992, there was some pretty cool, some Kevin Costner flicks in both of these. So definitely,
You know, once we get through the 90s, we're gonna have to go back another decade or two and then start coming back up again.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have ideas. I don't want to surprise everyone. I don't want to ruin it, but we do have some ideas for other videos. I talked to Rick before he went to the hospital on some of those. So, but the reason why we started 85 went to 2000, we're going to go to 2000 is because that's when video rentals were like the peak, right? So, so we might do video games, we do some other stuff, but yeah, we have some ideas. So who knows? Maybe you get a Beard's top favorites or something later. You never know.
Maybe.
What do you think they would be? I'm guessing one.
I won't allow it.
What are you going to do to me, Daddy?
Tighten my belt by one loop so I don't feel hunger pains. And your sister and mother will have to do likewise. Okay, Joshua, you want to get rough with me? You want to show me that you don't like the choice of this house for our vacation by going on a hunger strike? Well, I'll accept the challenge. But just remember, when I was your age, I really did suffer from hunger. We'll see who gets through this. But just remember.
I wish people could see Beard's face when the clip comes up because you can't see it. It's covered. I wish you could see it. It's pretty dang funny.
It's especially awkward because nobody knows that the kid just peed on their food to save their life. And I hate the fact that it's little baby face JT saying, to me, what are you going to do to me, Daddy?
That's the best part.
It is the best part.
You're out! Doyle rules!
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, everyone, we're gonna wrap it up. Defro, always a pleasure having you on again. We're unsure if we are going to do a review the Monday before Thanksgiving. It's still kind of up in the air if it's going to be a review or some kind of hangout thing, but we will let you know in the community tab, and we'll also let you know on X. Defro, what do you have lined up on your channel?
At the moment, it's up in the air. I think I might be switching to posting my videos to Sunday because the one I posted this last Sunday seemed to do better on Sunday for some reason.
Oh, Night Riders. Yeah.
Yes. And like you even caught on it. I was like, damn. I don't know why Sunday it did better than it does on Saturday. I guess more people are home that day, but
maybe.
Yeah. That was a awkward Romero movie for sure.
Yeah. It was kind of awkward. Bunch of LARPers on motorcycles. I think Beard would fit nicely in that crew. Beard, what do you got going on tomorrow? Don't tell me you're reviewing this again with Jacob.
No, unfortunately, what I'm reviewing with Jacob has just slipped my mind. But he always has really good picks for some old classic movies that I've often have never heard of, but almost all the time really enjoy. So check out Jacob Ironside's channel. So that'll be up tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m.
Looks
Eastern.
like you're reviewing Die Hard.
That doesn't sound right.
No, not Die Hard. No, the 19th. You are doing Paths of Glory.
Paths of Glory. That's right. Yes. See, I looked at that and saw it just like, an hour or two ago, and my brain just goes.
There you go. Paths of Glory.
Yes.
Oh, we just lost Defro.
Uh-oh.
Well, everyone.
It's been great. On that note, we're out.
Thank you. And again, if you're new here, please subscribe or stay subscribed. We would love to have you. We're like 20 away from 500, so let's have a push for that. So if you're in the chat, make sure to share out our channel, and that would be fantastic. Beard, this has been fun. Or what is your Indian name again? Wind of Beard? Beard
Something
of Wind?
like that. Oh,
Monkey Lover? Okay. All right.
No,
everyone,
no,
you
no,
have
no.
a great night, and we'll see you next time. If we don't see you before Thanksgiving, have a wonderful, safe, fun Thanksgiving with your family.
Did RIP for Death Row in chat or the comments?
Yeah, and I'll let R2 everyone know that you... Oh, look, he came back. We're going to end it here.
Yeah, my bad. I don't know what's going... It's only StreamYard doing it to me today for some reason.
Okay. Well, we're ending now, so you came back just in time.
Okay, my bad.
It's okay. All right, everyone. Have a good night. See ya.
Truck to refrigerators to dumpster, 360 spin onto the palace, backflip gainer into the trash.
This is it. Next. Big just